Hi people! Hopefully some of you were able to see my Loom presentation, so you've actually seen a lot of the pictures that go with our world tour look at India. And some of you have probably already gone to Discovery Ed and seen the 3-minute video on 5 fast facts on India. Some of you may have already gone to National Geographic Kids and looked up India. There's an article there that's really interesting. So there's stuff I've put out there for you to look at on India. Just in case you couldn't get to those, especially the Loom presentation, I wanted to go ahead and give you that information in the form of a video. All right, I don't have my maps and things like that, so you'll either have to look at the Loom video or you'll have to look this up on Google. And I'll give you several things to look up on Google. All right, first of all, India is a peninsula. That means it's surrounded on 3 sides by water. And I say 3 sides generally because it's more in the shape of a triangle and there's water on each side. In any case, it sticks down into the Indian Ocean. It's considered a peninsula. And people have lived in the area of India for over 8,000 years. It's one of our oldest civilizations. So people have lived there a long time. Let me tell you a little bit about India today. India is the 7th largest country in the world by area. That means there's only 6 other countries in the whole world who have more land than them. They're the 2nd largest country by population. That means there's only one other country that has more people than them. They are a republic, kind of like the United States. They elect a president, a vice president, a prime minister, and they have a parliament, which is kind of like our Congress, and they have a judiciary branch, which is their Supreme Court. So their people elect their leaders. And so in that way, they are like us. Now, in the past, they had rajas or kings. And for many years, Britain, England, the Queen of England, well, before she was the queen, England ruled over parts of India for quite a while. So they had a king or a queen over them for many, many years. They became a republic and started electing their officials. Now that's extra challenging considering there are over 1,000 different groups of people and tribes in India, and there are over 1,000 different languages. Now, Hindi and English are the 2 official languages, but there are hundreds of more well-known languages in India. In fact, on the rupee, that's their dollar bill. It's called a rupee. And on the front, it's imprinted with English and Hindi. On the back, it has 15 other languages that it's printed in. So that's the kind of money that you would exchange if you went to India. All right, so here's some other things you probably want to know. You want to know what you'd be eating there. In India, people eat a lot of rice, vegetables, fruits. They put curry, which is a spice, on a lot of food, basically everything. And it's hot, people. It like takes Tabasco to a whole nother level. If you don't like hot, don't go near that stuff. India has one of the largest populations of vegetarians, and that goes back to the Hindus. That's one of the main religions that's represented there, and it's one of the oldest. And here's the deal. They believe in reincarnation. That means when someone dies, they come back as a person or an animal, depending on how good or how bad they lived. Okay, that's their belief. So they don't believe in God and one God in heaven. They have many different gods, and they believe if you live a good life, you come back as something better, and if you live a bad life, you come back as something worse. And it all depends on what you do in your life. So that's why it's different from Christianity that most of us have grown up with. They believe that cows and chickens are actually people who are reincarnated. They used to be people, so they won't eat a lot of animals. That's just one of the beliefs of Hinduism. We'll go into more beliefs in just a minute. The caste system is something you probably want to know about. See, every person is born into a level of society. Some are poor, some are your average middle class workers, some are your wealthy leaders. The level of society that you're born into is the level of society you have to marry, and your parents arrange your marriage. So you have to stay at the same level of society. It's not a very fair system. Talking about marriages, wives come with a dowry or gift. It could be money, it could be things to set up their home, it could be animals. If you're marrying someone who's in agriculture or farmer, it could be any of those things, but the wives come with gifts. That is their dowry. The women wear saris, not like sorry I'm apologizing, but sari, S-A-R-I. You can look that up. It's a wrap dress, basically a long piece of cloth that the ladies wrap around them. And they're very, very ornate and pretty. The Taj Mahal is a building that you would see if you were in India. You can look that up. It's 2 words, Taj, T-A-J, Mahal, M-A-H-A-L. It is a beautiful building. It was built by one of the Rajas or kings many years ago. And he built it for one of his most loved wives who died. It's her burial tomb. So if you go and look up a picture of the Taj Mahal, it's one of the wonders of the world. And just to think, that's where he buried his wife. That was the whole purpose of that building. It wasn't to live in. It was a building for the dead. So that's a really interesting little fact there. The national symbols. First of all, I challenge you to look up the Egyptian flag. Because in your passport that I sent to your parents for you to either print out or color on the computer, you kind of need to know what colors they are. So look up the flag. Some other symbols that you would see, the Bengal tiger is the official animal. Now, when you think of tigers, some of you think of Africa. Tigers weren't originally in Africa here, not the Bengal tiger. That's the one you think of, the orange and black stripes that you see in the pictures. It's from India, and it is endangered. All right, so the Bengal tiger is something you would see. Taj Mahal, of course, is a national symbol. The biggest festival, like we celebrate Christmas and Easter and stuff, they don't celebrate that. Their biggest celebration of the year is called Diwali. It's the Festival of Lights. And if you go online and you look up Diwali, D-I-W-A-L-I, there's actually a Brain Pop video about Diwali. And it will tell you about why they're celebrating. But that, again, goes back to the Hindu beliefs. All right, let me see if there's anything else real quick I need to share with you before we talk about Hinduism. And the reason I'm going to talk for a minute about Hinduism and Hindu beliefs is because I want you to kind of understand how their people are thinking. First of all, let me say, Hinduism is one of the oldest religions, but there are many religions represented in India. They do have religious freedom. Buddhism came out of Hinduism. There are a lot of other religions, Jainism, Sikhism. There's a Muslim influence because a few hundred years ago, Muslim invaders came and took over for a while. And the Christians have also been there for almost 2,000 years. So you've got a large religious influence of many different religions there. Hinduism is the oldest and is probably the most popular. Okay, sorry about that little break there. Let's talk more about a couple things that Hindus believe, just so you have a better understanding of their beliefs. Okay, not that I'm trying to convince you to believe like them. I just want you to understand what's going on in their minds. They believe in karma. That means if you do good to others, others will do good to you. If you help others, others will help you. They believe in dharma, doing good, living a good life. The ultimate goal is peace, especially peace with the universe, which they call nirvana. So there's no God in heaven. There are many, many different gods that they offer sacrifices to. They live good lives, and they think that's going to bring them peace with the universe. And that is the ultimate goal, is to, after being reincarnated and reincarnated, to come back many times, to ultimately be so good that you are at peace with the universe when you die, and then you're not reincarnated anymore, you're just a spirit. That's their idea of perfection. That's what they're looking forward to. That's what they're trying for. Because they are a peaceful people, India has never really tried to invade any other country. They are known for their peaceful protest. Mahatma Gandhi is one of the most famous leaders in India. He lived about 100 years ago. And he is known for peaceful protests, especially hunger strikes. He would see injustice and say, I refuse to eat until you correct this, until we do something about this, until we address this problem, I refuse to eat. And because he was so beloved, he was a great leader, people said, we got to do something. We want him to survive. We want him to eat, so we've got to do something. And there was a lot of changes in the mid-20th century because of Gandhi and his stance, his peaceful protests. All right. One more thing I'm going to throw in here, just because I honestly don't remember if I said it before, but it's about the climate. Most of India, a good part of it, is tropical. It's very hot in the summer and cool in the winter. There are jungles there. There are deserts. But if you go to the north, you'll run into the Himalaya Mountains. The northern border of their country is cold, freezing cold, because it's so high up in altitude. Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, is in Nepal, the country right above India. The border for India is that same mountain range, the Himalayas. So there's a wide variety of weather there. And in the eastern half, they have monsoons. That is a large amount of rain and flooding in a short period of time. You'll see that a lot in deserts, in desert areas where it's dry most of the year. Then all of a sudden, the rains come and come and come, and they have problems with flooding. So you might want to look at what a monsoon is. All right, so I'm giving you a lot of information, a lot to think about, several links to go to. Please go ahead and fill out the India page in your passport and enjoy looking into India today.